Hello, my beautiful peoples. Ooh, I'm so excited for this little impromptu rapid revenue mini training that I've put together for you all today. So this training is specifically about what's happening in my wellness business right now, my Pilates and yoga studio. We have more than doubled our revenues in the last 5 months. We have a plan to do it again in the next 6 months. And I feel like the plan's going to work and everything is just moving in the right direction. And I'm so excited to share these things that are working for us right now. I'm going to share with you today a mix of strategies, of mindsets, of some energetics that I've been working with myself and my team. And I feel like the combination has been super magical for us. What else do I want to talk? I want to acknowledge for any of you who have been following me in this last week, I've really had speed on my mind and tempo this week. So I've been talking about, this training is about rapid revenue growth, which to me is a really fun place in my business to move fast and to get fast results. And I've also been fascinating on the parts of my two businesses, actually, my studio business and my business mentorship and my leadership mentorship business, where I actually really love going slow, like having these like longer chapters of life, longer chapters of learning. Sometimes it's tied into my own personal life, my own health. Definitely was a chapter when I had my babies, right? And that was like a slow moment in my business. But in general, I feel like there are appropriate places to go slow in your business, like, for example, in growing your leadership skills, in learning how to empower your team members to really become like creative problem solvers, in setting up the systems and the protocols and the policies that make everyone's life easier, that makes everyone be able to do what you're doing sustainably in the business. So those are the areas that I like to talk about, like slow growth. But today we're talking about fast growth, which is really freaking fun. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kiki Lovelace. I am the founder and director of education here at Interstellar Pilates and Yoga Studio. We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. Very excited about that. And of course, coming out of the pandemic, we have both online offerings and in-person offerings, which we're having a lot of fun with right now. I also am a leadership coach and a business mentor. And I mainly work with my multi-six, seven-figure plus clients on life as an entrepreneur, life as a CEO, how to be your best self as a leader and as a provider, as many of us are for our families, and also how to have a life outside of entrepreneurship, sacred time for your family, for yourself, for your spirituality and your practices. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. And today I'm going to share with you these 6 things we've been doing in my wellness business to create this quantum leap growth, financial growth, in a very short period of time. So let me get my notes. And by the way, I can take a couple of questions today. So if you want to write in the chat as I'm talking what your questions are, please do, because I'd love to answer them live. Okay, so I want to start with some strategy stuff first. I think it'll satisfy the part of you that just really wants to know the how. But I want you to know that the mindset and the energy pieces are part of the how, and I'm going to get into them in a moment. But one of the strategies we've been really, I feel like, mastering in my wellness business, actually, and in my coaching business, is having multiple intro offers. So having some different ways for a prospect to step their foot through the door and just make that first step to work with you or your team. I find that having like evergreen offers is really helpful. Having a mix of like evergreen offers that are like always available. And, we focus on them in different parts of our marketing strategy each month is helpful. And then also spicing those in with something new, and I would say on average, I'm not like super prolific in terms of like creating offers every 2 seconds, mainly because I like to turn off my brain sometimes as an entrepreneur. I like to like actually have a weekend and turn off my phone at night and like spend time with my kids on the couch. And so I actually like have a discipline of like not thinking about my business all the time, because been there, done that. and it doesn't actually work that well for my life. But I would say in terms of new offers, we probably create a new offer just organically. It kind of feels inspired and we feel excited about it, feel it's aligned. We do that every maybe 3 months or so in both of my businesses. But then we always have these evergreen offers as well. So having multiple intro offers that are packaged in slightly different ways, priced in slightly different ways in order to attract our dream client. That's working really well for us right now. Number 2, that's working really well is a mix of pay in full options, pricing options, and recurring revenue auto pays. I actually apply this for both of my businesses. I love having a base of recurring revenue auto pays that just makes my nervous system feel very calm at the beginning of each month, knowing that it's just about a guarantee that I'm going to have this amount of revenue coming in through both of my businesses. And I always have my eye on how can I continue to grow my recurring revenues, because that's really where I can get an understanding of, I can make this next investment this next year, or, I can give my whole team a raise and this is how much I can give them. So the recurring revenue sort of give me not only a sense of stability in my own nervous system, but an ability to grow my business and my infrastructure, my teams over time. But I have to tell you, in my wellness business in particular, actually in my coaching business too, I've been very much enjoying pay in full options right now. And we've been really, especially in my yoga and Pilates studio, we've been putting out our pay in full options since for the last, I would say 2 months. And oh my gosh, have they driven our sales up? It's just so much fun to look at my sales reports every day. So having a mix of the pay in full and the recurring revenue options, and just knowing, my team is very much trained in how to make sales, how to do sales, and how to spot a kind of prospect that would be a perfect person for a pay in full. And so I do want to pause and say that this training I'm giving you today is, for us at my studio, we're working with goals of mid to high 6 figures in revenue per year. We have a 3-year plan to be a 7-figure revenue per year studio. And so I do want to acknowledge that what I'm sharing with you today is more advanced, this is assuming that you have a foundation. So any of you who are newer business owners understand, before you get to this place, you have to have a foundation in place. And we have that in my studio business. We have a very strong brand. We have an audience that we've cultivated over time, an email list, social media following, raving fans of our clients. And we also have a very established marketing and offer sort of creation consistency. We email our list at least twice a week. We're like experts at the nurturing process, so all of that is already established. And I think that's part of why these little tweaks that we've made in the last 5 months have helped us to have this quantum leap in revenue growth, this doubling of our revenue growth. So that was my little aside. Okay. So I'm going to start to get into some mindset and energetic stuff. And this is something I work on with all my business mentees. I was thinking, I had a coaching call with one of my masterminders yesterday, and we just, for a half an hour, we just moved in and out between strategy, belief systems, energetics. And that's how I love to work with my people. That's absolutely one of the secrets of my success in both of my businesses. So this third one is, we have been working with the belief that what we want for my studio business in terms of revenues is 100% freaking possible. There is no doubt in my mind. There is no doubt in my team's mind. And I share with my team very openly, what are our revenue goals? Where is that revenue going to go when we get it? There's a lot of transparency in my organization, which is a whole other topic I could talk about because it's super magical. But that belief that what we want is 100% possible, and for the benefit of everyone in our community, of me as the owner, of my team members, of course, our beloved students and prospects. That belief is so very important. I can't tell you how many business owners I talk to who share with me, in their secret whispers, like how much money they actually want to make and how few of them believe it's possible. And I always feel like that's part of my job as their business mentor, is to help them strengthen their beliefs in what's possible. I believe it's possible for them to have what they want, but I feel like it's part of my job is to help sort of hold their hand as they strengthen those beliefs. It's so important. Another piece that has been working really well for us is having a plan. We have a plan. We had a plan 5 months ago. We have followed that plan, and we have another plan for the next 5 or 6 months. And I love having a plan. It feels so good to know, I think this is going to be our next few steps. I don't know exactly when the timing will be right, but I can anticipate that if we do these things, we will continue to increase our revenues month over month, and of course, year over year. And I also want to acknowledge, and I always coach my team members on this, is it's good to have a plan, and it's also good to be flexible, because sometimes one of us will get an inspired idea that we just need to run with, that we just need to go, let's drop the plan. Let's do this instead, And so that is, I think, very important. And for those of you I think this is part of why I spent so much time working with lots of different business mentors when I was a baby business owner. And I still have my own mentors, of course, is because I didn't have a plan when I first started as a business owner. I didn't know that there could be a plan. I had to learn how to see what it might take to get to my goals. And so I'm so grateful now for my ability to plan because I can be very impulsive and intuitive. I'm like a big action taker. And I also want to name that there are other people who I'm sure are watching this right now who are over planners. So I don't want you to harp too much on this have a plan piece if you are an over planner, because I unfortunately see this a lot in business owners who don't quite make it through the first 3 years. A lot of them are really obsessed with having a plan, and they don't make moves until they feel like they have a plan all thought out. And that doesn't work, actually. You have to, in order to grow a business, you have to make moves and take action rather quickly. And it's we call it imperfect action. It's not going to be perfect. So you just need to let that go. And you won't actually know, truthfully, any more than 1 or 2 steps ahead. You really won't know that, especially at first when you don't understand how to plan. You haven't yet learned how to create revenue for your particular service, your particular business. That takes time to learn. Okay, number 5 is having a monthly goal and holding it lightly and with faith. So I can be very goal oriented. I love the challenge of especially impossible financial goal. I knew, as of 5 months ago, even 12 months ago, that when we were allowed to reopen here in California after Corona times, we would need to very quickly double and then triple our revenues. And I knew that that was part of what was going to happen here. And I love goals. I love that. I love how do I do that? How do we do that in quantum time? That for me is actually very fun to have a goal and to get curious about the process of how might that happen? How might we make that magic work? But what I've learned is that I need to hold my goals lightly, because if at the end of the month, I used to do this a lot when I was younger as an entrepreneur, is if at the end of the month I hadn't made my goal, I would be all depressed and frustrated and annoyed and impatient. And I started realizing about 2 years ago or so, maybe a year ago, I started just realizing, this doesn't feel good. I don't really want to feel like this about my goals. In fact, I'm actually very grateful that I even get to do any of this, that I get to have my own business, that I get to, create my own schedule, that I get to take a day off when I want to, I feel so privileged. So why am I holding this with impatience or frustration? I don't want to feel that. So I started playing around with holding goals for myself, but just holding them lightly and with faith, knowing in my bones that I will get there. because I can be persistent as a mofo. Like I will figure it out at some point or another, you know? And so that's what I've been doing with the studio business is like, we have a goal. We have a specific financial milestone that we want to make every month. And, you know, last month we were like $3,000 off. You know, we didn't quite make it. We just set the goal again this month. Like, no big deal. Like, we'll just try again, you know? Of course, I want you to know that if your revenues are stagnating for like a lot of months or even for years, it's time to like shake it up. It's time to do something different. But for me, it's like, that doesn't really happen to me. It's like, I just have these moments where I kind of like, I'm like creeping up and I might not quite get there. And like, eventually I get there, you know? And if I don't, then I know I need to reach out and probably find some mentorship or find some inspiration for doing something totally different than I hadn't considered before. So yes, having a monthly goal, holding it lightly and with faith. Now, the last thing I want to tell you has actually been the most magical freaking thing in the last 5 months of my studio business. So one of the things that I teach my leaders and CEOs and business owner mentees is how to work with their intuition in a very specific way to achieve their business and their life dreams. And I started training my managers on working with their intuition and actually asking them, what does your intuition say? Like, let's make room for what's your intuitive idea? What do you think? Like, this is our goal. We have 2 more weeks in the month. Any idea, any downloads like from your intuition, you know, from spirit, like what you got for me? And oh my gosh, it's been so much fun, not to just have the ideas coming from my brain, which I'm used to being the big idea person, but to actually have empowered my team to be mining their own felt sense for how to make a sale or close a sale, you know, what kind of offer we should create next, what should we market this week or next week, you know, and like really, really coming to it from that sense of creativity, inspiration, and intuition. And the magic that is happening amongst some of my key players on our team at the studio, it has been like the miracle. It's really been what's been driving our revenues forward. Love it. So much fun. It's so much fun to work with team members, not just in that way of like, this is your job and this is what you do, but actually to call forth in them their own magic, their own creativity, their own sparkle. Like, not only does it help me continue to drive revenues up, but my employees are they're so in their element, you know, and they're really learning about themselves and they're discovering like, wow, I'm fucking good at this. I'm really good at this. And it's so fun to see them develop more and more confidence in their own abilities, their own magical abilities. Yes. So I want you all to know that if any of you feel excited and inspired to work on building your business in this way, I have 2 openings in my Prepare to Scale 2-week private mentorship. This is such a fun program of mine. I love it so much. In these 2 weeks, I will give you a training on like the 4 stages of scaling. You'll be able to identify which one of the stages you're currently in. We will have a large coaching call where we talk about what's going on and we actually identify some action steps, both on the energetic and mindset tips and also on the strategy tips of like, here's what the first steps that you need to do. We'll co-create that together. We'll have a couple weeks where we can float things back and forth with each other. You can ask me questions. We can refine the strategy a little bit. It is so much fun. And you will walk away with a very clear sense of how to scale to the next level in your business. So let me know if you're interested in that. I can send you more information over email or over Messenger or direct message. And then you can fill out an application and find out if it's the right fit. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear your thoughts and takeaways, and I'll see you real soon.